brain's telling you that you should, right?
It doesn't hurt at all, yeah?
You sure you're not gonna bend my fingers? So what should you bend there now?
Nah, it's gonna bend, it just won't break.
Huh?
It'll bend, but it won't break. So I'm like, yeah, there's the bone there, yeah? And you feel it, like, because you've never broken this before.
Nah.
So right, so the idea is from here, it bends a tiny bit, but it stops. Any more would snap.
Hey, bro.
If you watch this, from here, you just start the bend.
Oh my days. What the fuck?
And then it goes 90 degrees.
Oh my days, this guy's breaking my fingers. Brother.
But the interesting part is,
Nah, bro.
it happens everywhere.
Oh
you
my
see?
days. Oh
You
my
see how it's
god.
white? There's no blood going through. And now it just rushes back.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Mike, how much is it with this guy? How much is it with this guy? This guy is amazing.
Huh?
No, seriously, Mike, that is amazing.
Yeah. Fucks with your head, huh?
I always wanted my own TV show, innit? But then it was like, it took me a long time to realize I can't just want a TV show for the sake of having one. It has to have an emotional attachment to it. Yeah. Because the magic is the passion. What's the mission? I think realistically, I think magic is a great tool for kids to pick up on. I think it teaches technique, dexterity, patience, and confidence, because you need confidence to perform. A lot of it, if I'm telling you I'm bending your finger, even though it's not happening, it's me making you think it's actually happening. Like, that's what sells the whole trip. And so, it's just done a lot for me, I guess. And
where do you start? Do you know how many?
I don't know, it's just all a blur, man, because I'd gone Liverpool Street, and then the next thing I know, I was living in Dubai for 6 months, because I met some random geezer who happened to be very wealthy, and they was like, yo, we got a Diwali party, give me a number, we'll call you. And you get a lot of those people just say, I'm gonna do this and never do it.
Yeah.
And then he calls me, and then this was 4 years ago, I do the show, I'm getting paid like $250 a day. He puts me, I ain't got to pay for nothing. And then I realized how, successful he is and how many opportunities he can give me. So I'm like, yo, could we do a TV show out here in Dubai? Because back then, the Middle East were very behind on the social advances the West were making. They were so behind on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything. So even though you guys had Dynamo, they had nobody. And so we pitched the show to NBC, who were like the biggest channel in the region. I remember sitting in the meeting, they're like, look, what are you going to do? What's your show about? We're going to shoot it in the backdrop of Dubai, so it's going to make it, Dynamo walks on water, so I'm going to walk on air, innit? So they have the Emirates Towers there in Dubai. We're like, look, let's do a stunt where you back it, and then we'll do a stunt where I walk across. Because it was going to be funded by the guy who flew me out there. And then we were going to do like levitate up the Burj Khalifa. There's Ski Dubai as well over there, like a skiing thing. So because the show was going to be sponsored by like Jumeirah, Email, that's how we were recouping the money. And then we were like, look, we can come up with an avalanche. Again, I didn't know this was possible. I was just going by the conversations I've had with other magicians as to what's really possible on TV. Because on TV you can get away with murder. So we were just saying the biggest, baddest, craziest things so that they would just give us the go-ahead. And then they was like, look, we love it, gave us the letter of intent. And then the show basically falls through when we was going to sign the contract with the media, because the guy that flew me out pulled out, and then it all just went to shit. So then I came back, because I was ready to fly out and like, settle there and everything. And I'd done 6 months already. We went to like, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Monaco Grand Prix, and just seen the maddest shit
out
ever.
there 6 months.
Yeah,
that's experience a lot.
It's so much, bro. And taught me a lot as well. Like, it just wasn't the right place for me because I was so comfortable doing magic in the streets of London. That was what I liked to do, innit? And then suddenly I'm at the guy has hired Jason Derulo, he's just paid him to come into Monaco for the Grand Prix, like 35 grand, to pop like champagne, you know? And he's just standing there, like I remember the receipt being passed around after the night. It was like 202,000 euros, you know. That's like, and I'm 20 at this point, like, so this is all getting to my head, you know. And in a way, it was a very big blessing in disguise for sure. Because had it gone ahead, I'd forgotten about really what got me there, you know.
You know, I wanted to find out more about how you guys started the label and stuff as well. The whole thing.
Yeah.
Just tell him as well, because he doesn't know, I guess. But, so I don't really know the whole story. How long has it been?
Well, it's like, no, it's not even 2 yet. It's one and a bit.
So that's
2
good,
is
right?
like in August. Yeah. 1 and say 8 months, something like that. 8 months. So okay, you started.
So cool. So yeah, I'm TK, and basically, when it comes like to the music and entertainment industry, I've been in it for like about 8 years. I'm 26. I started off like doing a lot of like live sound engineering at church and that, and then obviously I've always like had love for music and that, so jumped into like recording engineering in the studio and that. Used to rap a bit when I was in secondary school, so that passion for music's always been there. Learned how to play the keyboard when I was younger, drums and that, and then I went to college and then I jumped into media, and that's because I didn't really do too great in my GCSEs and that. Because I wanted to do humanities and that, and then they were like, oh, this is all you can do with what you've got in it, so it's just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Jumped in with media, and then I was mucking about, was going around the same patterns and that, and my tutor, he spoke to me, he was a white guy, and he was just like, if you keep fucking up, you're just gonna end up like in jail or whatever, with no qualifications and that, do you know what I mean? And no one in my life spoke to me like that, and it was just a complete random one, do you know what I mean? So like, I thought, nah, do you know what, like, you know when you get a wake up call, I just like started fixing up in college and that, and then because I was doing media, so I really liked a lot of the video editing and shooting and whatnot, and when he saw I was picking it up a bit, he started bringing me up to industry stuff, so that opened my eyes to a whole new industry, like, so ended up getting that freelance contract with like River Island, a magazine company called Disorder and that, so I was meeting like artists and stuff, and I was thinking, oh, there's a way I can combine that, the whole music and the film stuff, and then like he was letting me borrow his camera and that. So I was making money, saved up for like studio recording equipment in my bedroom. Started off in the yard, and then after that we ended up saying like, well, we need a place to actually set up shop, you know what I mean? And so my church building, there was like a floor upstairs with different businesses and stuff, and then there was a spare room, like we used to be a hairdressers, and then it was up for grabs, and we just thought, right, it was like 17, 18, like, well, let's just write a proposal in it and see if we could get it, and that might not, but I'll try and that. And then, yeah, they gave it to us, and this room was literally bare. I've got a picture on my phone, and that's bare, like literally just a computer, a little small little MIDI computer, and then from there, just started meeting different people, because they would come through. It's like, man had a HQ now.
You had a base,
do you know what I mean? And some people just coming through, different artists, and then someone's like to me, bro, you should manage like artists and that. So started kind of managing stuff, and then obviously started going to little, you know what I mean, open mics and stuff, seeing a whole other world. The next minute, like my next bedroom, Darren, he was like, we should do events. So I ended up starting doing like little music events and like raves and stuff. Did that, and then as it went on, jumped into little clothing and that clothing game, and then started doing, this is the label brand, and then started doing Amsterdam Weekenders and that, and it just started opening up. And then, but what happens is you grow and grow and grow and realize people who start with that, it doesn't really, they don't really get the vision and that, do you know what I mean? Everyone, he would know, he's seen that from the beginning, do you know what I mean? And if you look at my circle now, everyone I started with, no one's there, apart from our producer, innit? So, yeah, we hit like a hard point where we had to rebrand. So rebranded him that, and then bumped into him because we was moving studio, and we needed like TVs and he could get TVs and stuff at the time, innit? And then linked up, then he told me what he was doing. I was like, right, come up to hip hop karaoke, it's mad. The social that we're talking about now.
But it's actually bad still. It's like, cause it's like you said, innit? So like the hip hop karaoke thing. Funny thing is, we know each other from school, innit? So we know each other from young, and our birthdays are one day apart from each other, so we're from the same country. It's nuts, it's kind of crazy.
What's your birthday?
16th.
Oh,
December. Yeah, so it's mad. It's like, because what it was, how I used to rap, innit? Back in the day, I used to be like, I was doing the road, I was a kid and I was doing the road thing. Mine wasn't really screwed up. But I was rapping at his studio that he built. Because he used to be, it was 104 Forever. So KSL, not even 104 Forever, KSL. And then I used to rap there. Obviously, my parents, so he never used to shut up. Sometimes, you know what I mean? But yeah, so it was just like, then I thought, right, like, I want to do what he's doing. I don't want to be a rapper. Like, he's like a boss. Like, it's a business. He's got a team, you know what I mean? I thought maybe this rapper thing's not really for me, but I said, let's join up with him because I know he has a bit more knowledge than me. There's a couple things that I can learn from him. Do you know what I mean? But they weren't really on it as people are. Some people, everyone's different, you know what I mean? But from that day of hip hop karaoke, like, no one actually does from that day, literally, I spoke to him almost every single day. Ill or not, dead or alive, like every single day that we're planning, do you know what I mean? Just from that day, it's just clicked. And what's kind of weird is like, right, I've known this guy my whole life, like basically almost most of my life, and he has the same vision, but he was just like a phone call away. Like, if he didn't call me for, because I don't go out, I don't really go out. If he didn't call me for hip hop karaoke, we probably wouldn't be sitting there today. We probably wouldn't be sitting there today. He just wrote like, let's go out. So, why are you still doing the music? We're still doing music. We sat down there, we planned everything together. I had an artist that I was working with called IQ at the time, but I knew I couldn't really control him by myself and stuff. I needed kind of a team. I wanted to get him where he wanted to go. So I sat down with him. We just started planning from there, and we've just been taking steps. Do you know what I mean? We've learned a lot, had a lot of lessons that you're gonna learn. Do you know what I mean? But from there, like, we're about building, and what we're about as well is that, as a company, we're about empowering people. So it's not like for example, as Banks joined us, we don't classify as like he's working on us. We empower whatever kind of skills or attributes he brings to the table. We make sure that it's empowered so he can use it for whatever he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're about. Do you know what I mean? And one of the main things, like, guys, TV, which you will mention as well, is that we like everything in house. Like we're very, we're self-owned. Do you know what I mean? Like everything we put in is from ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, we built the 2 studios. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, then that's how Finesse. And obviously Finesse Forever was he think was wonderful forever, and I was Finesse Entertainment, so we just combined it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.